Hello, and welcome back to the Cricket Nerds podcast. I'm back. I mean, we shouldn't really say that because it's always a mixture of one or two or three of us each time. So anyway, it's fine. I'm back and we're talking about the England-India ODI series. James, how are you getting on?
I'm doing well, thanks, mate. Yeah, it's been an interesting series so far. Two very different results. So I think we'll dive into the first one first. And it was a very, very comprehensive win for India. And I think the main focus of it was Jasprit Bumrah taking 6 for 19 runs and basically completely skittling most of the big players for England. And yeah, is he the GOAT, Benji?
Yeah, he's really good. Sorry, there's just massive noise outside of my window, so I was trying to mute myself.
It's all right, you can't hear it on here.
Oh, that's good. But yeah, he was insane. He took Joe Root, Bairstow, Livingston. It was such a good spell, supported very well by at the other end by Mohammad Shami, I thought. And yeah, England just looked like scared rabbits. They were just absolutely blown away by that pace attack, and you could definitely see that there was a bit of rust from the England ODI side. Like they hadn't played an ODI with a proper full team in a long time. I know they had the series against the Netherlands, but with all due respect to the Netherlands, that was never going to be like the biggest of challenges for the England side. But the fact that they came against this Indian pace attack and got absolutely blown away, it was a shock. And then Shami knocking it off with Shikhar Dhawan and supporting him in under 20 overs. It was extremely comprehensive, wasn't it?
Yeah.
There was quite a lot on offer, I think, for the seamers with a bit of swing at the start of the game. And Bumrah was managing just to get the ball to nip all over the place. In his 7.2 overs, he bowled 38 dot balls.
That's insane. It was so impressive because every single ball looked like it could take a wicket as well.
Yeah.
I think in the first 10 overs of both ODIs, actually, but in the first 10 overs of England's innings, there were 22 false shots. And I don't think that counts. So that's just them beating the edge. That's not like them, sort of punting it up by accident and all the uppish shots that kind of landed in the field. So, the first ODI definitely went India's way. Like they took all of their chances. They did really well. They were just all over it. And there's not really a whole lot to speak of in terms of England's batting. I don't know if you can just chalk it up to being a bad day or what, but it was kind of like watching an England Test match of a year ago, just a complete collapse and nobody really having the wherewithal to actually dig in and stay around.
I mean, when 4 of your top 6 get ducks and the other 2 get 37 runs between them, it's never going to be a good day for you, is it? But I mean, I think a mixture of things like the fantastic spell from Bumrah and Shami mixed with a bit of rust and careless batting. I mean, you've got 3 guys in that top 6 who are just coming out of the test match setup as well. So they might not be used to the white ball with how it doesn't really move around as much or moves more for the first 10 overs than a Duke's ball. Dukes need to get the lacquer off occasionally before it starts really misbehaving. And just a different style of the game, I suppose. They're trying to play Joss ball, not Baz ball, but I don't know. It just wasn't England's day, was it? And then their bowling is definitely also missing something as well, in the fact that they've got not really anyone apart from Reece Topley that can hit that high 8 mile an hour mark. You can really see that team is missing the Jofra Archers. Yeah, Cars can get it there, but you're really missing the Jofra Archers, the Mark Woods, and the Chris Wokeses. I mean, Craig Overton's in that side as well. He's in there more of a batter, I think, anyway, to get that. But then it's a whole different story for the second ODI. Um,
I mean,
do you
it
want to
kind
talk
of,
a little bit?
yeah,
Yeah,
it
about
kind of
that.
starts in the same way because, like I said, in the first 10 overs, 22 false shots. They just kind of, the luck was on, if the luck was on India's side before, in terms of all the chances kind of getting to fielders, all the chances in the first few overs didn't go to fielders. They were kind of like edges that would go down, or at one point, I think Shami said, "Oh, Rohit, get yourself out of second slip," and then that next ball, Johnny Bairstow like edges it right to where second slip would have been for four.
Yeah.
So there were chances. They just were a bit lucky with them, and it's still, they kind of capitulated a bit. Like Bairstow, did all right to get a runnable 38, but Jason Roy punted up one of the softest dismissals ever. It was a half volley on his pads, and every single day of the week you'd expect him to put that into the stands, and he just kind of chipped it up to for catching practice for Surya Kumar Yadav. And then Chahal bowled amazingly. If Bumrah was the star of the show for India last game, it was Chahal this game.
Yeah.
He was the ability to just toss it up is and just get that flight, but then dip and turn is amazing, because some of the balls he was bowling, like the one that got Root out, I thought that was going to be a full toss. I genuinely thought that was going to be like an awful ball, and it just dipped at the right time, went right under the sweep. It was very impressive. What's your opinion on Chahal?
I thought he bowled fantastically. He showed all of the maturity of a very experienced spin bowler. His ability to vary pace, I think, for me, was his most impressive thing. I think he ranged from something like 48 to 57 miles an hour in his deliveries, which is just such a different range. Like, you have people like Matt Parkinson who stick around the 48 miles an hour mark, maybe up to 50 max. You've got like the Rashid Khans who push it through a lot quicker. But the fact that Jahal's got that entire different range and can throw one through quicker, but then also toss one up and get that good little bit of dip, flight and turn and just deceive that batsman. It was really, really, really impressive bowling, I thought, from Chahal, and quite deservedly he picked up those 4 wickets. What I thought was good from England was that there was a bit of application. So yes, Jason Roy did get out quite foolishly, but he had dug in and made a start with Bairstow. Bairstow and Root had a little bit of a partnership together. Captain Butler needs to really, since he's been captain, his performances have gone downhill. But we'll see how that goes, because only a month ago he was smashing nearly 200 against the Netherlands. And then a real good fight back, I thought, from Moeen and Dave Willey, the 2 left-handers. And potentially you could see a little bit there of the matchup where India haven't brought an out-and-out off-spinner, a right-arm off-spinner. Because they've got Jadeja and Chahal as their 2 spinners in that side. And
is it yet another instance of India shooting themselves in the foot by not picking the
Ashwin,
greatest off spinner alive at the moment, which is Ravi Ashwin?
Yeah, potentially, because I think Ashwin is the first name, or one of the first names on the team sheet in all formats for India. Like, he can bat, and he's insanely good with the ball. Yeah, it's really confused me why he's not in that side. But Moeen and Livingston, I thought both of those left-handers, they really played very sensible innings. I think Moeen's innings, he was just striking the ball so sweetly. And it was just a really mature and sensible knock, and exactly what England needed. Especially after a couple of soft dismissals.
Yeah, I thought Willie getting dropped on 1 definitely helped England's cause. That was a dolly that Prasid Krishna dropped, so that's a bit of a howler. But I agree, and I'd say that was kind of the difference in the sides, was how deep England batted. Because realistically, like, Bryden Cast can actually bat as well. He only got 2 this time, but like we we look at the lineup, and actually we bat until 10, really 9 quite comfortably, with Craig Overton being a bowling all-rounder as well. So we bat very deep. And then if we move on to India's innings, obviously Topley and Willie with the new ball were outstanding, and we'll get into that a little bit more. But they don't really, they bat until 7, because then they've got Mohammed Shami in at 8. And I know he got a handy little 23 off 28, which is actually better than Jason Roy because it's a faster strike rate. But, realistically, Mohammed Shami isn't going to be able to dig in and get you a century, is he?
Yeah.
He's going to swing the bat like a madman, and maybe he'll fluke his way to sort of 40 or 50, and that's amazing. But they don't have batting after that. Like, Bumrah, Chahal and Krishna are all number 11s. So, yeah, I thought that was potentially the difference. But what do you think of Topley and mostly Reece Topley, but also...
Yeah, I'll speak about Reece Topley because when we said about Bumrah spelling that first game, I think Topley spelling this game was equally impressive. I mean, 9 overs, 10 overs pretty much. Economy of 2.44, 48 dot balls in that as well with 6 wickets. And I mean, those 6 wickets were Sharma, Shikhar Dhawan, and Surya Kumar Yadav. Like, that's 3 really impressive big names in there.
Yeah.
I think he just bowled really well. I mean, I don't understand why Rohit Sharma reviewed that LBW, because it was one of the most plum LBWs that I've ever seen.
Well,
unless
England,
he hit
maybe
it.
he's taking a lesson out of England's book, because I think
potentially, yeah.
Was it Stokes and Root and I can't remember who else, all reviewed like the most plum LBWs I've ever seen.
Yeah, so the DRS
just
system wasn't used fantastically at that point, but there we go. I think that for me, though, the most important wicket was Surya Kumar Yadav. Like, he is in such amazing form at the minute, and just getting him, outside off stump, trying to get him swinging, and then chopping it onto his own stumps. Like, that's probably one of the first mistakes that I've seen Surya Kumar Yadav play in 10 or 20 games, like to do that after his fantastic 100 in the T20 series. But yeah, I mean, I'm so pleased for Reece Topley, because he was, if you think about 3 years ago, he was so far away from that England ODI squad. And it's really through, not having the likes of Wokes and Wood and Archer in the side and available, that he's had this chance. And I think he's really gripped it and really taken it by the horns. And I think he's a mainstay now for a good few years, because he's got that pace. I'd prefer to see him over like a Tamar Mills. It's still that left arm option, but he just is far more consistent.
He's got that point of difference being 6'7" as well.
That's it. Yeah,
he is different. I think the main reason that he hasn't been able to really break his way in previously was he was previously a little bit inconsistent, and also he can't bat at all. For a 6'7" bloke, he cannot bat at all. So, and you know what England are like, we love to have batting depth. So I think the fact that he's in now and he has that point of difference, he's got quite a high ceiling. So I hope he goes on to have an amazing England career. I hope he takes many more sixers. I just want to touch on one last thing before we wrap up today's pod. Virat Kohli went out fishing outside off. Does he need to, like, I mean, he actually made a very good start. He played 3 of the nicest shots of the game. Like, he played a perfect off drive, played a perfect on drive, and then I think he played a really nice cover drive. So he can play the shots still. He's just in bad form. What does Kohli do? And also kind of moving into the T20s again, does he actually get a space in that side anymore? Because I can understand the argument for keeping him in the ODI squad, because he is I feel like if he can get himself in, he will still have a great impact. But I don't know for how much longer you can kind of keep on pandering to him and like getting him in this squad.
I mean, the thing about Virat Kohli and what I do like about it is the loyalty that BCCI have shown him, in the sense that, like, look, you're going through a poor spot now, but we know that your class is there. Like, there's that old phrase, isn't there, that form is temporary, but class is permanent. And I think, like, a lot of the fans, particularly as well, will be calling for Kohli to take a bit of a break. I think similarly to what Ben Stokes did in 2020 and 2021 might not be the worst thing for him. Just focus on something else apart from cricket for a bit, because I mean, he's not had a break in so long. Like, he's gone straight from the IPL into a tour of England, so like it's not easy things for him. His last 50, if we're not counting the Indians versus Leicester match, which was interesting, but his last 50 was in the IPL against Gujarat Titans on the 19th of May. But then I think before that, there wasn't any real decent score for nearly a year.
Yeah, and if you remember that 50 as well, it was a bit too slow and potentially lost RCB that match.
What Kohli needs, I think, is either a big 100, just get in, bat a big 100, and everyone say, right, he's back, just to get out of that mental zone, or just to, after this series, maybe just take a 5-6 month break from cricket, focus on just something else, because he's just been in that world for so long. He's been all format captain of India for a long time, and then he's still one of the first players to be picked for every single India match that they have if he's available. And like, you get burnt out, and it's the thing that happens with every sport, with every profession. Sometimes you just need a little break, some time to reset. And for me, I think it's about that time now, unless he does something fantastic in the next ODI on Sunday. Even then, that might just be a one-off, and if he's still in the side after that, it could have a worse effect on him. Like, I think, yeah, you can see Ben Stokes now, can't you? The fact that he had this break from cricket, has come back in, is now the captain of the Test side, and has performed really well in Test match and with his captaincy, with his focus being there. And I think something similar for Kohli would be fantastic. But yeah, it's obviously up to the India team management. It's obviously up to Virat himself. But I don't know, that's what I'd recommend and say in my very professional opinion. But will be interesting to hear what you guys think. So let us know in the comments, what should Kohli do? Give us some seeing cues. We'll give you a Cricket Nerds question of our own to you guys in the comments. Should Kohli play the third ODI? Should he go on a break? What do you think about Virat's form?
Brilliant. Well, thank you very much for watching. We will see you guys later. Don't forget to like and subscribe, please. We've been having a little bit of growth on this channel, which is lovely to see. So thank you very much. Don't forget to tell your friends and your grandparents to subscribe. You can follow our social medias. We are at Cricket Nerds Pod. And other than that, we will see you guys later. Goodbye.